So, my dear friends, we'll see the philosophical idea of Hegel, right? You know, this Hegel, he begins his philosophical idea by criticizing the philosophical idea of Immanuel Kant. In Immanuel Kant, in his philosophy, we saw that Immanuel Kant says that noumena, the metaphysical realities, they exist but they are not knowable, they cannot be known, right? But here, Hegel questions him. How can you say they are existing but they are not knowable and they cannot be known? They are in themselves. How can you say this? Hegel he says that we cannot know only the things on which we cannot think, right? अगर हम किसी के बारे सोच नहीं सकते हैं तो हम ऑब्वियसली उसके बारे हम जान नहीं सकते हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू हेगल. But Immanuel Kant says that we can think but they are not knowable, they cannot be known, right? So from here, from this criticism, he begins his philosophical idea, and his main philosophical idea is absolute idealism. He believes in one reality. He is known as nominism. He believes in nominism. Only one is real and other things are unreal. So according to Hegel, there is one infinite mind and spirit. One infinite mind and spirit which can know noumena realities and phenomena realities, right? And he called this one reality, that is spirit and infinite mind and in infinite spirit, he calls this reality as absolute idealism. So absolute idealism can know noumena and phenomena, right? Further he says only absolute idealism is real and other things are unreal, right? And he says that the world that we see around us, this material world, is the manifestation of absolute idealism, is the projection of absolute idealism, and they are unreal, they are not real, only absolute idealism is real. So in this way, he comes with the new philosophical idea, that is absolute idealism. Let me say once more, according to him, absolute idealism is monism, one reality, and there are things that is not real, right? And this absolute idealism can know noumena and phenomena realities, right? And therefore absolute idealism is one and is true and real, and other things are not true, they are not real. They are the manifestation of absolute idealism. The world is the manifestation of absolute idealism. The same idea which the Plato had. Plato speaks, he says that ideal world is the real world, and this world that we see, this material world, is the copied of that ideal world. Same view Hegel also holds. He says that the world is the manifestation of absolute idealism, right? Only the absolute idealism is real and other things are unreal. But here Hegel, he speaks about one reality. He speaks about only monism, only one, right? So there is a difference between the idea of Plato and the idea of Hegel. Hegel speaks about one absolute idealism, and from that absolute idealism, this world is, and these are the manifestations. The world is the manifestation of that one absolute idealism, and that absolute idealism is real, and other things are unreal. So this is absolute idealism according to Hegel. Now let us try to know uh, dialectical method. Dialectical method is nothing but it is the process which can lead the person to achieve final meaning, to achieve final goal, right? Now let us try to understand this dialectical method. He used the three terms, and they are thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Now, how can we understand this term thesis, antithesis, and synthesis? As I told you, this is nothing but this is the process which can lead the people to achieve final goal, right? To achieve final meaning. We have knowledge on object, right? But when we have knowledge on object, there are some people who criticize the knowledge of object that we have, right? So how can we understand this? The knowledge that we have, that is thesis, and the criticism, that is antithesis, right? Let me tell you the example that I said. The knowledge that we have, and there is a criticism that people, they criticize on our knowledge. When they criticize, there is the emergence of new knowledge as a solution, right? In the same way here, thesis, that is knowledge, and antithesis is criticism. When there is conflict between this thesis and antithesis, there is the emergence of new knowledge as a solution that becomes synthesis, right? As I told you, the knowledge that we have, and there is criticism, there is conflict between our knowledge and criticism. So when they conflict, they fight, then there is the emergence of new knowledge. In the same way, as I told you, thesis and thesis, antithesis, there is conflict between these two, and there is an emergence of synthesis as a solution, right? So in that way, as I told you, that the knowledge and criticism that gives new knowledge, and in that new knowledge also there is some criticism. After few days we find again people, they criticize on that new knowledge also. So again that new knowledge becomes thesis, and the criticism becomes antithesis, right? And then again there is conflict between thesis and antithesis, and then emergence of synthesis, again new knowledge, right? So in this way, thesis, antithesis, and synthesis keeps on moving, it keeps on moving, and it stops when the final meaning is achieved, right? Then no more thesis, synthesis, and antithesis. So as I told you, this is nothing but this is the process which can lead the person to achieve final meaning, to achieve final goal. As Father Rector, he made it very clear by giving us example, that is, thesis is poor, antithesis is rich. If there is conflict between this there is conflict between this rich and poor, then there is an emergence, that is classless society, right? So classless society is synthesis as a solution, right? So in this way we can understand it, the dialectical method of Hegel. Hope you understood it. Thank you so much.